so now being 6 o'clock on Monday, April 23rd, I will call the Board of Selectmen's meeting to order. First,
you have to read your little.
oh yes, thank you. This meeting is being recorded for cablecast and YouTube presentation by Area 58 Community Access Media. The video of this meeting is not to be considered an official public record. All right, first on our updates and discussion, we've got Dave Alberti to talk to us about Town Cleanup Day. So Dave?
I'm here. Well, we had a good day. It was much like today, one of the better days in spring. And we want to thank the Board of Selectmen for allowing us to use the town green gazebo. And we had safety from Chief Dillon. He was able to get us a couple of crews just to follow the pickers around. And the sponsorship was in part by South Shore Equine. They did a good job too. With their crew, they had several of their employees show up, which was great, like last year. Karen Fabian was instrumental in arranging this, through all the social media and paper media. And she and I we signed maybe a half a dozen public service certificates for the kids that needed that. That worked out good. We had maybe 30 people, which was great. We got a lot of the streets done. We didn't do everything we wanted to do. More would be better next year, but we had a weird week because it was school week, vacation week, so that a lot of the kids were vacationing and parents were away. Both scouts, the girls and boys, couldn't be there. They had other duties because it's springtime. So last year they helped us out a lot though. So maybe that'll change next year. We're going to try and reschedule it to a better date. As far as the volume of trash, we did pretty well. There were like 3 pickups full, and we had some stake-side trailers that were, 3 of those went to the dump full. So there's some dramatic shots there somewhere with Deb. And that's about it. We'll do it again for sure. And that'll be with Garden Club and South Shore Equine. Sponsors.
Great job.
Great.
Yeah, absolutely great job. You can tell a difference. It was a beautiful day.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for better.
Yeah, Center Street looks amazing, really.
Yeah,
Really nice job. So,
Thank you.
thank you for all your efforts.
All right, thank you.
Hi.
Chief Reese, 60 Prospect Road. Regarding cleanup, not just the debris cleanup, all the brush and shrubs, I don't know who can find out, but a week or so on the 11 o'clock news, a couple of the North Shore towns they received grants for companies to come in with special equipment and remove all the tree debris. And it was tons and tons up north. And I didn't know who knew about getting grants or where the grant came from or anything, but I thought that was interesting, and we certainly couldn't afford to have a company like that come in, but if we could get a grant to do the debris removal of the trees.
Definitely, that does sound interesting. Do you know anything about?
No, I saw the article, but I don't know whether there's grants available
It
down
was like
here.
a couple of North Shore towns, and I don't remember which.
Dave, did you have something?
Well, I did talk to Jim Mulcahy about the cleanup we did. He couldn't support it, his guys were busy, but we talked about trees and debris from the storm related incidences, and he said he's got an 18-inch chipper coming by.
Okay.
They've secured it at pretty good rate, but it's better than what we have. And they're going to go around, mobile, street to street, and get rid of the big stuff. And it'll take anything up to 18 inches. So that'll happen soon.
So that'll be the logs that are on the side of the roads?
Yeah, the logs and the brush. I think Jim's can take the town one they've been using to take up to 12, but this is a much bigger unit. We're not buying it, we're just renting it.
Okay. Well, I can check into the grant. I don't know if there'd be any money with FEMA or MEMA either.
It's worth a try.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a try. So yeah, I can look into that, definitely. Good suggestion. Right, anything we can do to help.
Well, I just happened to catch it, and I thought it was interesting.
All right, very good. All right, so we're going to skip the second item on the agenda, and we're going to save that to the end.
Should we do ZBA?
Sure. Ken, did you want to meet with us?
I believe there's in your correspondence a request for town council
Okay.
for the application from Industrial Communications
Okay.
for power.
All right.
So in correspondence, as Ken reports, is a request for time with town council for cell phone tower appeal, Palmer Road and Center Street. Apparently, it was deemed to not meet zoning bylaw, and they have appealed to ZBA, and ZBA would like time with town council to review the material.
Absolutely. All right, I'll make a motion that we authorize the ZBA. Is it going to be you, Ken, or is it going to be?
I'll be talking to Greg or
Okay.
whoever he designates. I don't know if he has a tower person.
I'm not sure. They might.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, apparently there's a
I'll
memo
second
they
it.
wrote around the last hour in 2002 in the park at K&P. So there's people in K&P who speak
Telecommunications.
Cell phone.
So, what are you thinking for time?
It's sort of a short and long, you know, the short is to get our arms around it, which is the proposal and the communication to decide, you know, how big is the apple
Okay.
we have to eat. And I would say a short amount to prepare for the hearing as opposed to spin-off from the hearing.
Well, there'll be more after the initial.
Right.
And we
so I don't
can
know if you
revisit it
wanna
after
do
that.
in small bites of the apple, or, you know, I've asked for like 5-hour blocks at a time or something.
Well, do you want to authorize up to 5 hours to prepare for the discussion and to prepare for the hearing? And then if it's more than 5 hours, just let us know.
Hearing on May 24th,
Okay.
6:30.
All right, so 5 hours. Okay, so we had a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. All right, so authorization for up to 5 hours of time with council.
Okay, he did, when Art came in and asked about this, he asked about town council coming to the,
I would think
ZBA.
town, because
Okay.
the applicant will have their attorneys present, so our attorney should be present as well.
so is that included in this 5 hours or no?
No, that would
Okay,
just be
great.
5 hours
I just want to let him know.
of preparation for the hearing.
For preparation,
And then we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
preparation, I think.
Can you try to keep an eye on that?
Yeah, I do, because what I do is try to have leftover to not spend, so it's not so hard the next time. But yeah, I need them to size what we're doing, because what they did in 2002 with the federal legislation seems to dictate to this day what state does, and therefore what towns do.
Okay.
And this Federal Telecom Act seems to say something about demand and need and space not being in the zone. It enables the changing of the zone.
Okay. All right, thank you. So yeah, just
You know,
let us
They have a
know.
report before that of his assessment.
Okay, sounds good, Ken. Thank
There's
you.
a lot of interest around.
All right, so next item is citizens petition, annual town meeting warrant, Article 17, possible recommendation vote. So this was the citizens petition to change the zoning that was done by Carrie Otto, and they wanted to change the zoning across the street. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Did they come forward? Have they come forward? No. Okay.
We act on them the day after we get them to schedule a hearing, a meeting to schedule hearings because of the month-long schedule it takes to even get to a hearing date with a firm 65-day state mandate for holding the hearing unless the applicant releases us from that and extends it.
Okay.
So if it passes, then they don't need to go to the ZBA? I mean, they've already come to the ZBA, haven't they?
They came to the planning board, right?
Yeah, are we talking about Carrie now again?
Yeah.
We have not had any correspondence from Carrie. It would have to have been planning board or the zoning officer.
Okay, so there is the ability to
There's
appeal
really
to you.
sort of three parties in the
Okay.
frame.
My understanding is the planning board turned him down.
Okay.
So our question tonight is whether we want to put a recommendation on the warrant, and
I don't particularly want it.
I don't really want to.
I actually, I'm still unclear how I would want to vote on this, just voting at town meeting, and I'd like to hear the discussion.
I would too.
I would too. And
So, and since no one's presented to us much either way, I'd like to hear that first. So,
Okay, perfect. So.
So we would make no
We'll
recommendation.
make no recommendation
Right.
on Article 17. All right, earth removal bylaw placeholder.
Okay. So we sent the latest draft off to town council the middle of last week and crossed our fingers, and Greg was great in getting back to us. Had some concerns, had a lot of edits, and got it back to the committee. The subcommittee worked on it, and essentially what's happened is the 15-page document has been shrunk down to about 8 pages. Greg did a great job of tightening, editing. We took out a lot of pieces that were essentially regulations that are at the discretion of this board, so that it wouldn't take another town meeting to change that stuff. The whole thing's been greatly simplified, and in my humble opinion, is a really good balance of protecting the town and also protecting the rights of individual citizens. The committee, the subcommittee included ag people, cranberry people, open space people, and so we have, against all odds, we seem to have a final draft that's ready to be included in the warrant.
And the subcommittee is all comfortable with the recommendation from council?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, you know, it's always a balance, and, you know, Plymouth took a year, 23 meetings, and was still changing things for their earth removal bylaw, you know, 2 days before town meeting. And so I think we have a real good document, fully recognizing that there may be stuff or unintended consequences that we'll have to work with along the way, but I think a good balance of protection.
Excellent. All right, next we've got sign the signature pages for the annual town meeting and special town meeting warrants. Should we vote to close it before we sign it, though?
Should we wait for the last piece
Yeah.
from
Yes.
FinCom?
So let's move it down to the very last thing we do then.
I just spoke to Nate, and he said his meeting should be over very shortly, and he was going to come in to go over all of them with you.
Okay,
Perfect.
great.
Okay, next item, update on fire department study committees.
We had a meeting last Wednesday. Everybody was there but one person who happened to be out of the country, so we gave him an exception. It was a good meeting. We talked around the table about why people join the committee, what their views. There's 2 meetings that are going to be held as a follow-up to that. The first one is this Wednesday with the joint Selectmen's meeting in Halifax. The Oversight Committee, I've invited all those people to come to that. The Technical Committee decided that they wanted to hold a separate meeting. They didn't feel they needed to be there for that, so they're going to meet Wednesday night. And I think what they're going to do is take the recommendations from Municipal Resources, Inc., and go through them one by one and try to segment them into categories: most important, important, least important. So,
That's terrific.
so we're on our way.
All right, question?
Yes, about the earth removal bylaw, the latest draft.
Okay.
Where is that available to be read, you know? And are we going to be able to, you know, as a community, look at it and
Oh, sure.
comment on it?
Yeah, it'll be on the warrant.
It'll be on the warrant, which will be posted shortly and mailed. We'll get it up on the website. We can get it up on the website.
Now, this is the draft that went to the attorneys, and the attorneys got to look at it?
We sent the last draft to the attorneys, looked at it.
Will they be able to approve the one that you guys all approved?
This is approved by the subcommittee and approved by town council.
So the one that the Executive Cranberry Committee, what's his name, Brian Wick?
Yeah.
That's the same bylaw that came out And that one is what was approved by town council?
No, that was the one that has been further edited and revised.
Okay.
By the full
That was
subcommittee.
my question.
Yeah, by the full
And that will
subcommittee.
be up for us to read soon, shortly?
Yes.
We will also, they will also have, the subcommittee will have a educational section, probably not next week, but the week after. And public's invited, open for discussion. That'll be, yeah, not next week, but the week after.
So we'll have time to read it and review it?
Oh,
and
yeah.
then Before public discussion?
Absolutely, yeah. We'll get it up on the website. I don't see any reason we can't get it up on the website this week.
No, it's a final draft. It's
Yeah.
going to be on the warrant.
And it'll be on the warrant, which will post it shortly, and in the mail shortly.
Is there any news on the Prospect Road, since they had such a huge amount of sand and gravel coming out of there?
In correspondence tonight is a new purchase and sale agreement.
So we'll talk about that in correspondence. All right, so we talked about
Excuse
the
me,
fire department study
I
committee?
wanted to ask you, you're going to have a meeting to learn about this, the earth removal? Do you know when that is?
We're not. The subcommittee will be holding.
Our subcommittee is going to do that. It won't, the week of
No.
maybe the 7th.
Okay.
Contact Linda. She should have a date for you. All right, Nate, since you're here, do you want to?
Or the answer to that is there is not a date yet. They're working on the date right now.
Okay,
They're probably getting organized for it.
thank you.
So Nate, did you want to report on your vote on the last article on the,
Did we go over the others last time I was here? I don't remember. I thought we held off on the special articles.
Yeah, we have held off on this.
we did hold off on the special, you're right.
So I didn't know if you wanted to go over.
Yeah, why don't we go
any
over the
ones that-
special?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you want to just go line by line on that?
Perfect.
Ready.
Do you have that before you?
Maybe. I have the ones I need to know. I don't have all of them. Actually, I do, I think. Somewhere.
You approved them all, from what I saw, except that one we're talking about tonight.
I think she just kind of put in votes as placeholders. I don't
Oh,
believe
okay,
she
okay,
gave you
okay.
That was the
our-
case.
Okay, I misread
Yeah,
that.
I think she's, yeah. So,
So I think we had decided that we would approve all of them, and we're waiting on this last one.
okay. So, the first one I have is the Article 1 on the special town meeting, the $75,000 for the police station expenses. We voted affirmatively on that one. The next one was Article 3, which is funding of the Special Ed Reserve Fund for $40,000. We voted to approve that one.
Okay.
Article 4 was the transfer of funds for the Dennett School generator, $70,000. We approved that one. Article 5 was a transfer of $25,000 for the water treatment at the Dennett. $25,000, I don't remember if I mentioned that. We voted to approve that one. The next one that we had to vote on was the Article 8, the proposal by the highway and the tree warden for extra cleanup for the storm damage, $25,000. We voted to approve that one. Article 9 was 3 unpaid bills from fiscal 17 for roughly $700, $694. We voted to approve that one. Article 10 was a $20,000 payment towards our OPEB responsibilities. We voted to approve that one. Article 11 was $10,000 to be added to the town building maintenance fund. We voted to approve that one. And then lastly was Article 12, which was the establishment of a fund for the Selectmen to utilize for executive search. the amount of $20,000. We did not approve that one.
Okay,
So that was 0 to 3?
0 to 5.
0 to 5, I'm sorry.
okay.
And I'd be happy to explain any of those to you if you'd like.
All the ones that were approved were transfers of money, so it was coming from one account to another account.
Correct.
I'd be interested in 12, in your...
Sure.
Yeah.
I think the feeling of the Finance Committee was that the article was too nebulous for us. If you were coming with a specific request, saying, similar to last year when we had a request for the fire study, it was a specific use, we were very comfortable in approving that one, where this one was kind of, well, we would like to have $20,000 at our disposal to spend as we see fit. We didn't feel comfortable with that.
Okay.
Especially in light of the fact that we have, in this year's proposed budget, if you recall, when I went over it last week, or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, we have bumped up the reserve fund this year. So we feel that if the selectmen were to come to us, we certainly understand unexplained expenses come up, and if this were one of those and you wanted to hire a search consultant for a particular role, we would have no problem entertaining that as part of the reserve fund. And we did bump that up by an extra $20,000 this year.
Okay.
I think our thought process behind that was that, you know, if you're willing to do it out of the reserve, that would be good. We basically return, or will return, the $20,000 that was voted at last year's town warrant, because we'll now fund it through the grant. And we just thought, you know, it might make it quicker if this fund was available. But I understand what you're saying, and I think it's reasonable, and I go along with it.
I agree. I think it's reasonable, and
Yeah, we're not trying to put up a roadblock by any stretch. We just want to make sure that
Sure.
we would feel more comfortable if there was a more specific use involved, that's all.
okay.
Okay.
So...
Go ahead, Mark.
Can we remove that article?
We can-
If we can remove that article, rather than...
Well, the warrant's not closed. We can remove it if we want. We put it in.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
You haven't closed the warrant yet.
Yeah.
No, we
Why don't we
might
just
close.
vote to
I
remove
hear
it?
what Nate's saying on the nebulousness. I'm a little hesitant to sort of plan on using reserve fund unless it's truly unexpected and an emergency. And on the other hand, boy, we could use help. And so, but I guess, I mean, if we're not going to be in favor of this, I'd just as soon take it off the warrant.
I think that's, you know, the only one I can see is a follow-up to the fire, you know, report that we did. If we decide to go through shared service in some depth, looking at all the questions that were asked, we would need help on that.
Well, we've got another $30,000 for that.
Yes.
To help in the event after we explore shared services, if that's the way that makes the most sense to go, then we'll have this money to negotiate
Right.
an agreement
Yeah, that's true.
with Halifax,
Yeah.
so.
So I'm in favor of taking it off the
Okay.
warrant.
Great.
Okay. All right, so I'll make a motion that we remove Article 12 from the warrant of the special town meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, Nate, very much.
Sure, you're welcome.
All right, so housing production plan update. Our housing production plan was approved. It originally came back from the state with asking for a specific site that we were going to consider affordable housing. And I modified it to include what we had talked about with the grant, where we're looking to have a mini master plan done here, and that we have asked Old Colony Planning Council to include the creation of some affordable housing on this town property, or town buildings campus. So that's what I added, and they were happy
Great.
with that.
Great.
Wonderful.
So it's been approved.
Nice job.
Thank you. All right, Animal Control Officer, Inspector of Animals, incident reports.
So the incident report piece, when we met 2 weeks ago, we hadn't gotten reports. I volunteered to speak to the animal control officer. He did get reports to us on each of those 2 incidences. They are closed and done. I would have liked more detail, but at least we got reports, and both situations are taken care of.
Okay. And then we received a application,
We did.
or a letter of interest.
That's in correspondence.
Okay, let's hold that then.
Do we want to pursue that in tonight, or are we just noting that we have?
Well, I think we're noting it, and then Liz offered to meet with the individual and to do an interview, and
Good.
So she was looking for your approval on it.
Okay.
So I don't know if you need to vote on, so she could reach out to that
well, do
person?
you want to do it in correspondence after we get it?
Or
Or
after
to
we
reach
read it?
out, does it need to get
Right.
posted sort of thing? Can she reach out to anybody that applies? I don't know if they were gonna need to.
I don't know
Okay.
why she can't reach out.
Yeah, I would say she could reach out too.
So I'll just say, no, it doesn't need a vote for that.
Are you comfortable with that?
I'm comfortable with that, with the specific issue of this individual. I'm wondering if we've put together the process for getting the word out, and if we have moved forward on investigating other part-timers from other towns.
I thought she was working on that. She was working on looking at a part-timer from another town, and she would be, wanted to speak with this individual with the job description, and to
This
kind
person,
of do an interview with them.
this person is meeting with another town,
Okay,
another town. So it would be a part-time and a part-time.
okay.
And
So
they
it's
were
possible
willing-
this individual would already be working for another town?
Yes,
Okay.
and that person said that they would help with training.
Okay, all right.
So we're agreed that Liz will just continue this process.
Perfect.
Okay, very good.
All right.
Okay.
All right, I thought we had on the agenda about me following up on the discussion with Ms. Williams from last week. But I'll report on that anyway. There was, I spoke with her several times, and there's a little bit of confusion about who actually owns the property. And I originally thought she was talking about the driveway in front of her house, but she wasn't. She was talking about that lane that goes behind Rick Burnett's property. And I just went up to the assessors, and according to the map, it's owned by a gentleman who lives on, Mayflower.
Yeah, it has, it's like an L. So
Yeah,
you have an
it's like an
entrance
L,
off Mayflower
right.
and an entrance off the, so the town owns to the green, and then it picks up with that gentleman, so it's really his
It's not
property.
her property.
Right.
Okay, all right. So I wanted to verify ownership before I told someone to stay off the property.
I don't think we have the right.
I don't either, so I'll let her know that I think I'm gonna be able to take care of that for her. All right, so last on our updates and discussions, Memorial Day commemoration committee meeting update.
We just had a meeting today, and it's all in the works. Everybody met, people from the Plympton Historical Society, along with the Garden Club, and 2 Boy Scout and Girl Scout leaders. The Historical Society is going to be opening up the building before, for drop-off, which is going to be kind of difficult to really have it open because for the through traffic, because they close the street down. But it will be open to go in and go out. After the ceremony, we're going to ask you to, as part of the ceremony readings, at the beginning of the meeting, to let people know that they can come to the Historical Society and do a viewing. There's going to be refreshments.
Nice.
They were possibly looking at a slideshow.
Yeah, it's going to be like an open house to encourage people, because so many people in town have no idea what's in that building. And there's a lot of great things in
There are a
that
lot of
building.
great things in there.
So we figured that would be a good time to have a little open house.
Perfect.
We'd like you to,
that's great.
if we invite people at the beginning to things, instead of at the end when they start to dwindle off. So
Okay.
We'll do
they
it
want
at
to
both
put
ends.
something to
Yeah.
writing, yes.
Great
A little
idea.
writing. So there'll still be the touch-a truck that we'll have, and then to have it open that and it'll be great for the kids to see.
Good.
I mean,
Terrific.
we used to love going in there.
Okay. All right, that sounds good, so we'll be sure to,
And the garden club is going to be doing, Boy Scouts will be doing mulch. Garden club will be doing the plantings. And we'll have another great day. We're gonna
do you
pray-
need more volunteers, or are you in good shape with volunteers?
I think we're fine that way. Don't need-
Okay.
I would like people for horses, Vicky's here now. If we could get some more people to be in the
Okay.
parade to make it a little bit more exciting. And Dave is gonna get some of the guys with tractors, try to get a little group of that, get them in.
And we'll have the scouts.
And we'll have the scouts and the cow
baseball.
train.
And no band, huh?
We have no band. I know.
We just got,
Next year,
that's what we said last year.
because Halifax
I know.
canceled. They're still in line.
Okay.
I know. It's not right.
I wonder if we could make other arrangements. We
One
could find
time,
somebody.
we had the Boy Scouts, and they had a pole. Boy Scout at either end with a boom box.
I could make an
Typical
arrangement for
Plympton.
that. But yeah, I mean, I'd love it. The band would have been great.
Yeah, or even somebody that can play bagpipes, or just
Yeah,
something
yeah.
would be nice. You know, you ought to reach out, see if there's any local musicians that would be interested in participating.
Vicki and I had a brief little discussion on the hallway a minute ago.
I don't know if that music would work in a parade. You know? Guitar and harmonica, I just don't know if that would really
Capture
parade
the,
music, yeah. Well, we need, if we had like a float with recorded music on it.
Yeah,
I don't know if Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts can be on a float, so it would have to be adults.
Well, if it
Oh,
was
we'd have-
adults, like
Does it have to be
even, you know, playing
we've had
music.
kids on floats before.
I
Yeah,
know,
but you have
now
to-
they have new rules, the Scouts do.
Okay.
They have a rule for everything that the Scouts
Yeah.
have. I talked to Kim about it last year when we wanted to do the hayride. And they have to have a railing, there has to be no openings, it was crazy.
All right, takes the fun right out of it.
I know, just not like the old days where you just hopped on and.
Hop off.
The fun
Hop
is,
on.
let them do it.
I guess.
So if anybody's interested in music, Vicki and Dave, can I reach out to you about maybe some music or something?
We can ask around. No promises.
Well, Colleen's in a group too, isn't she?
Kind of,
Anything.
you know, when the people on Main Street left, that group at least kind of fell
The
apart.
Main Street
The Main
players, they're
Street
no
players,
longer,
yeah.
but the old time jam still gets together. I can ask Barry.
We have some good singers in town,
We
too.
have some talented musicians. That play on a float in the parade.
Or, you know, maybe they could even set up on the green and
Yeah.
play music on the green
Yeah.
while everybody's, you know, the rest of,
Yeah.
before the parade. so
Before the
people are
parade
standing
might be
around.
something, because we have to remember, this is for veterans to do.
Right,
We're not supposed to be too flashy,
Yeah.
yeah,
as they say.
Yeah.
okay, yeah,
But beforehand, that could be something,
that might work.
because they do wait.
I mean, yeah, there's
Wait,
generally
doesn't
quite a bit
rain.
of time, while everybody's just standing around, that might be kind of fun.
Because I do have some volunteers, we'll get some girls, they'll hand out some flags for the kids and waters, and we'll have the chairs set up by the fire department.
Perfect.
It'll be great.
Sounds
Just
like
like I
you guys
said,
are-
pray for no rain.
Definitely.
I'm
working
going
it
to
out.
resign if it rains.
Okay.
Okay, all right, on to correspondence. Or do you have anything to add?
No, we need to close
Oh,
the warrant
all right.
and sign.
All right,
and-
thank you.
So we need to vote to take out that, did we do that?
We voted to take it
I think
out.
we voted to take it out.
Voted
We need to
take out
close,
Article 12.
we need to vote to close the special warrant.
You want to make a motion?
Yeah, I make a motion that we close the special town meeting warrant.
Okay,
Second.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so the special town meeting warrant is closed, and then we just have to sign.
Signature pages, and Liz was very clear on how important this is, so
Okay.
maybe we should take a moment and just know that it's done.
Did you do something, Beth?
No, John seconded it.
Hold on a second.
I'm the seconder.
I said all in favor.
So losing.
Okay. So while you're signing, Becky, back to your questions. If you want, I have a copy of the earth removal thing that will go on the warrant. If you write down your email, I'm glad to send it to you. So.
Oh, okay. So you don't want to give me this?
Oh, no, you can have that, but I'll send you one too if you want.
I think he's got the Liz's folder down there too.
It's riveting reading.
I'm sure.
I would just say it's exciting that we got that done in such short order. It's amazing that we got it done.
It is amazing. It was definitely a team effort.
Yeah, Linda's first draft was excellent. I said that all along, you know. So this is the new one.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the final draft. Town council.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
All right.
Yep. All right, so correspondence.
So we have to be careful on this next one, but we received today an envelope with a new letter from the attorney from the Atwood Family Trust and a purchase and sale agreement. And there were letters also to the appropriate boards and committees in town. So we're certainly going to have to put this on the agenda for next week and how we're going to proceed. The purchase and sale agreement looks to me like it is a bona fide purchase and sale. It does not have conditions like the last one did, so I think there's a very strong chance that it will trigger the right of first refusal clock.
Is it the same buyer as the previous?
The name on it is different. I think in just a quick bit of Googling that there may be linkage. Maybe we'll know more about that next week. The first steps in the process and our process and procedure. As you remember, we had no process and procedure, and based on the purchase and sales that we got previously, we put together a pretty comprehensive way to proceed. So one of the things we have to do is share the information we got with several other boards and committees in town, and we'll do that. Our procedure also includes checking with town council as to whether this does in fact trigger the clock, and we'll do that. Along the way, we would have to have a public hearing. This is all about our 4-month right of first refusal. So we'll go through all that process. We'll put it on the agenda next week. I will be in touch with town council with your permission to just start the process to see if it is bona fide. Members of the Open Space Committee are going to be in touch with Wildlands Trust, the local land trust, and Cape Cod Compact, the land trusts were involved in. I will be in touch with the Community Preservation Coalition, which is the advisory board and the repository of great knowledge on how to deal with these, to see if there's anything we can do that way. And with this board's permission, I can be in touch with town council also to see what options are available to us, if any. So essentially, we'll end up with 3.5 months to see if we want to pursue the right of first refusal. The document looks like what they're proposing is maybe 5 house lots on Prospect Street, and that would be the change in use. That's what we can say at this point. We kind of knew this was coming, and I've been kind of holding my breath that it would happen at a not busy time, and it's happening at a busy time, but all we can do is look closely at this and see if there's...
Can you share the name of the purchaser?
Yeah. It is... Edward J. Medeiros, 113 East Grove Street, Middleborough. $800,000.
I don't even know where someone had spoke to me about asking for a buffer zone. Because if you put those houses on Purchase Street, they have the property, I mean, it's right there.
We really
They
can't
parked
talk
out-
about that yet.
Yeah.
Okay, but.
That'll be next week.
We will, this will be on the agenda next week, too, if only for us to have the opportunity to talk it through. It's a pretty stiff price, and for us, I mean, the last, and this will be for next week, too, but the last piece of information is the Open Space Committee did commission an appraisal, and that came in not too far off that. I think it was $830,000, give or take a little. I don't have that right in front of me, so it's not totally off.
Well, I think it was 780 to 830, so this sounds like it's, maybe
Right,
that's where
yeah.
they got the price.
Right, that
Yeah.
could be.
I know that you guys had, talked about, spending money on studies and then having that, actually be spent by the person who, if you have questions about water flow, geology, hydrology, any of that stuff, because I really feel like that really needs to be done there, since, we're talking about a tributary for, groundwater, this is a water supply, so, I think before this guy is gonna, put 5 house lots in there, I think that's really an important and valuable thing to be doing, especially in an area that has been polluted.
If they purchase
Water
this,
supplies have been polluted there, in that corner.
if they purchase this, they'd have to go through all the committees and boards and all the permitting and regulations that anyone else would have to go through.
So they want to buy the whole 90, 100 acres, whatever that, and there's no talk of earth removal from them, or?
There's no conditions on the purchase and sale. So
I
this
haven't even had a chance to read it yet. I don't know if John has.
I mean, this
either, so-
literally came today, so,
We just
and
got it.
I think we want to make sure it's on the agenda to have a more extended discussion, so.
There's going to be lots more discussion on this.
Absolutely.
I mean, this
I
is,
mean, okay, I agree. I want you to know that I'm not here to give you guys a hard time, but I also, want you to, when I saw that other, bylaw with 1,000 yards of gravel, I personally know that there's turtles around here that are endangered species turtles that need that sand and gravel to lay eggs. And right now is when those eggs are there. And right now, everyone around here is removing an integral part of their habitat. So any of those eggs that are being laid right now is going. And, we have a turtle around here that is only here. It's nowhere else in the world. And it's the red-bellied cooter. And I've seen him in Plympton. So, and there's actually a heritage grant money given to a person that I happen to know very well. And they are laid in sand and gravel right off waterways. They need water, but they need sand and gravel. And that's it. We don't have that many. And they're very well protected. So, I'm just concerned with all this gravel being removed next to water, wetlands, bog areas, that we're losing our turtles and everything else that, I know that people really don't understand, like, what the impact is on this habitat, but that's where I'm coming from. So I'm not here to be a thorn in your side. I'm here for, like, a voice for
The turtle.
the turtles.
We appreciate that.
And the amphibians.
Which is the reason for all the work on the earth removal bylaw, that we have additional
Great.
protection.
I thought they did a great job until they threw in that
Well, you know what?
1,000 yard.
It's a balance. It's a
Okay.
balance, and
It's not a balance for the turtle, Christine. I'm
but there's a
sorry.
whole process that we're going to have to go through, and you'll have ample time to state your concerns.
Yeah, I want a sand and gravel bylaw to pass. If it's done in a way that isn't going to harm our environment. period. You
Well,
know,
there'll be plenty of
so-
time to talk about it,
Right.
both in the, when they have their open meeting and then at town meeting as well. So you'll have
That's
plenty of
great.
opportunity.
I
That's
do,
great.
are we going to approve Mark to speak
Yes,
with?
I'll make a motion that we authorize Mark to contact council regarding the
Right of first
Right of
refusal.
first refusal.
Second.
Okay, so we're on a
All in favor?
45-day TikTok, right, on that
It's what?
45-day?
Let us take the vote first, please. All right, so we have a motion
Second.
and a second for you to contact council to discuss the right of first
Yeah.
refusal regarding the Atwood
And I
property.
think we're doing that this week because this is a really time-sensitive
Right.
matter, but it will be on the agenda for
Okay.
further discussion
All
next
right,
week.
so
I'll
we
say
have a motion and a
aye.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, perfect.
If you could just sign that, we don't want to think that we don't follow the rules.
Right.
That's that.
What was the last?
Rebecca asked if that started the 45 days.
It's a 120-day. It looks like, I have to work on this, so that because of some follow-up in mail delivery, that it's going to be April 11th is going to be the starting date.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So we may have lost 10 days in it, but we got 3.5
We
months to
got
go.
120 days from April 11th.
Oh, okay.
So we've got time. All
Okay,
right.
more
Yeah,
correspondence?
More correspondence.
Isn't that enough correspondence? Can
No.
we save the rest?
I'll fill in there.
Mark, I thought you just said you got the purchase and sale today?
It's the, Massachusetts general law is the clock starts on the the day after it's mailed.
Today's the 23rd.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we didn't get this, the boards and committees didn't get this until late last week.
We should
I
have-
don't know what happened there.
I don't know, but we should have a separate conversation.
I'm gonna, that's a separate issue, and I will be in touch with the postmaster, postmistress, and just remind them that some of this, the
time
certified
critical.
mail stuff starts
Long
clock.
time.
Right, it is a long time.
That's a long time.
And you have to remember, we had a holiday. We're not open on Fridays. Something comes on a Saturday. We don't get it till Tuesday. Then it's to
But
leave.
It's not when we get it, it's when it's dated.
No, I know,
Right.
so it's not when we get it, so if it's mailed on a,
Where was it mailed from?
I'm not sure. But they'll
Let's
work
go
on
into
it.
that next week.
Yeah, well, it just seems like, you know, it's a long time.
That it-
10 days.
It is, and
Let's see
it's
how they
real
go.
unfortunate, and we'd like to clear that up, and there may be nothing we can
So
do
it
about
doesn't
it.
happen again, right?
Yeah,
Well,
all
Thank
right.
you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. This is a letter from Girl Scout Troop 62627, talking about the garden, raised beds gardens out in the parking lot, how they've done it in the past, how they've grown food, given it to St. Vincent de Paul Food Pantry in Middleborough, tried to give to Plympton, but that pantry doesn't accept fresh stuff. Essentially, they want to do it again and are asking for our permission.
Very nice.
You know what we can do now that we have the Council on Aging here? They do deliver to some, I don't know if they want to, interested in that,
You know, we used to,
Mondays.
and farms gave produce, and we used to have the Council on Aging out here in the townhouse handing it out to senior citizens.
It makes sense. I could imagine there might be public health concerns, but maybe it's worth pursuing again.
Well, they have someone on Mondays now, and it is,
Right.
and she contacts, so they come in on Monday, and
Why
we'll
don't
see the people.
we have them
come in.
coordinate with Joy
Yeah.
and see if there's something we can do for our seniors?
So I make a motion that we approve the Girl Scouts doing the community garden again.
I'll second. All right, all in favor? Aye.
And really appreciative, and thank you, Girl Scouts, and what a great
Yeah, they
thing.
do a really nice job.
Who was the second on that? You said it at the same time? John did. Thank you, John.
This is a text-dense letter from FEMA about flood insurance and flood maps, and honestly, I just didn't have time to read through the whole thing this
Why don't we
week.
hold it then?
So, something from Columbia Gas about new rates, another text-dense thing, but the bottom line is their rates are going up. And another text-dense thing from Eversource, this is the thing we get each year about their use of pesticides on their right-of-way, the opportunity for people to comment to them and let them know about sensitive areas.
It might be good to put on the website and social media.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want that done?
Got that, Bree? Beautiful. This one is, this is Eversource's annual emergency response plan meeting, Tuesday, May 22nd at 11:30. Asking if or we're invited, or our designee is invited.
It might be
What
good
day
for
is it?
Bree.
Yeah.
It's May 22nd, it's a little ways off,
Yeah, I
next
mean,
month.
Is that
So-
a Monday,
Tuesday,
Tuesday? Wednesday?
Tuesday.
It could be Bree, it could be Liz.
Liz? I'm sorry, did I say Bree? I meant Liz,
Yeah.
sorry, Bree.
And actually, I will,
You're off the hook.
I don't think I can do it, but maybe I'd attend that just for the heck of it, too.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So that's to Liz also?
Yeah.
From Joy Marble, Council on Aging, has planned a Mother's Day event, requests use of the large Selectmen meeting room, May 9th, noon to 3, which I think is a Wednesday.
Fun?
Fine with me.
Yeah, very nice.
Okay. This is Old Colony Elder Services having their, I think it's their annual meeting, wanting to know who our designee is. Pat Mustacaros has done it in the past from Council on Aging, and I would hope that he'd do it again.
Pat is a woman.
Or Patricia,
It's Patricia.
sorry.
Okay,
her-
so, do you want to, Joy was copied in on it.
Okay.
Do we have?
So
to vote
I
on
guess,
that?
yeah, this is written to us. So should we leave it in Joy's hands?
I think we vote on that.
We vote on that?
What is this?
Old Colony Elder Services.
You do it every year.
Yeah. And Pat is the current board director from Plympton. No, why she
And so she
wouldn't.
represents, but so do we want to keep it, do we
Well,
change it to approve it?
Do we want to reach out to Pat and see if she still wants to continue to do it? And then if she does, we'll make the appointment next week? Okay. You want to do that one, Bree? Perfect. Thank you.
I hope she does. She's good.
Yeah, I hope she does too.
Everyone left? So we have 3 issues of the Plympton Halifax Express. From the April 6th, they mentioned the things that we had dealt with, the Dennett budget, Tales of Plympton, wonderful goat photos in there, a couple little baby
Those were
goats. Would melt the heart of even a heart of stone. April 13th, Tara awarded certification from the Mass Municipal Clerk Association, comments about the bylaw review committee. 2 Plympton runners in the Boston Marathon, Emily Wigmore and Sarah Moquin, and pictures of the prom.
That was a really nice article about Tara.
And then April 20th, last week, I guess, our election ballot, that is Plympton's, Kathy Drynan on rabies, Tales of Plympton, and baby lambs, that time of year. And with great pleasure do I report that that completes correspondence.
Okay. Dates to remember, our next meeting will be Monday. Actually, our next meeting is Wednesday, when we're
Wednesday,
meeting in Halifax at 6 PM, correct?
Yes,
7.
yeah. Oh, I
Is
have
it?
it as 6.
I had it at 6 too.
Okay, 6 o'clock. I'm not sure.
All
But I
right,
think
so
it
we're
was-
meeting in Halifax. to discuss shared services, shared fire and EMS services. And then our next meeting here will be 4:30, which is next Monday, and then the following Monday we'll be meeting as well.
And next Monday, if I'm understanding correctly, town council will be here, town accountant will be here, and town moderator will be here, and we do our kind of dress rehearsal for
Perfect.
town meeting.
Okay, so our next agenda will be taken up, a lot of it, by going over town meeting, getting the prep for that.
Yep.
So maybe we try to keep it short and just talk about that and the Atwood 61A. So is it the same attorney that, I wonder, can speak to both? It would be nice. It'll probably be Greg, wouldn't it?
You know, at least the last Atwood thing went through a different attorney,
Okay.
but,
Okay.
yeah, and I mean, that'll just be sort of plotting what we're plotting our plan,
And not really fully
plotting.
discussing it.
Yeah, I mean, at least with it on the agenda, we can open it for discussion.
Okay.
And I think some of the process there is just going to have to be listening a little bit. And
That's not going to be an appointment, right? You just want as update and discussion?
yeah.
Just update discussion. Okay. All right, board's goals for coming year, economic development, really nothing new to report on that. Financial management, nothing new to
Well,
report there.
The latest Department of Revenue DSL report, you know, the newsletter came out with the, what do they call it? The, what's the card? Dashboard, the financial dashboard.
Yeah.
And we've talked about having the accountant come and do a presentation.
Right.
And it keeps slipping and slipping, and I think we ought to just nail a date.
Well, let's do it after town
town
meeting.
meeting,
Yeah,
okay.
let's
Okay.
definitely firm that up.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
And why don't we try to schedule something in May,
So
rather than waiting too
I'll
long?
talk to Barbara and
Okay.
get a date.
Perfect. All right, public safety.
They're doing forestry work out there. There are a bunch of trees down, sites being cleared. There's a beautiful stone wall that was uncovered when they cut down all the
Really?
trees. That must have all been clear at one time and
Don't
probably...
let them take it.
No, absolutely not.
And we just signed the bond
Yep.
today. Okay, grants. I don't have anything new to report on grants. I think I will look into, with this Atwood, about the possibility of water, if any of those grants would be applicable to like watersheds or any type of safe water. That, so I'll check into that one.
You might have a conversation with Elise Lyons. She's indicated that she would like to get involved with grants. Now, I'm not sure that she just means fire grants, but
Okay.
if we could expand that into a,
Oh, grants, yeah, that would be super,
Yeah.
because those are time consuming. All right, volunteerism, just, we had many volunteers out helping to clean up the town, which was wonderful.
yeah, every place you look, it seemed like there was volunteerism going on at the library with all the
Yeah, Saturday
volunteers,
was-
with
Right.
the fire
Yeah.
committee with 14 people there. and It's just it's a great thing in town.
It is a nice thing.
Yep.
All right, technology, any updates?
Nope.
Okay, all right. All right, minutes, these were done by Mark for 4/9/18. I thought they looked fine with your, the corrections that you
Yeah, I'm fine with
suggested.
Yeah, and I have John's recommendations, and
Okay, all right, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of 4/9/18 as amended.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll get that to Bree.
Okay.
The amended ones to Bree.
Perfect. All right, anything else before we go to rants and
I
raves?
don't think so.
Okay, all right, you want to go first?
Sure. So my rant is kind of, well, it's not a rant, it's a rave, but it's kind of an announcement, too. We have this genealogy club in Halifax, at the Halifax Library, and Plympton members are part of it. In the last meeting, we had Martha Burns from Plympton come, and she does genealogy, and she talked about, you know, how she goes and does that, and when she hits something that's a stone wall, how she tries to break through it. So this, it's the first Wednesday of each month at 1 o'clock in the Halifax Library Conference Room. This Wednesday, we're going to have the august Mr. Mark Russo come and talk about,
A week from
Naming?
Wednesday, right?
first Wednesday of the month.
Okay, I gotta get
Yep.
smart between
Yeah.
now and then.
And if anybody has an interest in genealogy, this is a nice crowd. There's about anywhere from a dozen to 16 people there, and we go around the table and talk about our, what we're having breakthroughs with or what we're having problems with. It's good.
So you're reporting on your own genealogy and the research you've done into your own family history?
Yes, and usually what somebody says, I've got somebody in Iowa, I can't find anything about them, and all the others will come into it and start saying, did you look here, did you look that? And so it's-
fine.
yeah. And for us old people, it's,
Excluding me.
that's right.
Very nice. All right.
So that's my rave.
My rave is just all the volunteers that were out this weekend and picking up trash. And so my rave is the volunteers that showed up to pick up trash on the side of the road. My rant is, why is there so much trash on the side of the road? It's disgusting. And I just don't know if we can do anything with, raising fines for littering. I don't know. I mean, I just don't know. The enforcement is so difficult. It's just, I think, kind of, unfortunately, a mindset. And we live in a disposable society, and it just doesn't mean that it's okay to throw things out your window. It's just disrespectful and
It is.
Right down to pizza box. I mean, no.
it's
It's amazing the
disgusting.
stuff you find.
It is. It is.
Half a car.
Oh, my God, yeah, I found a bumper and lots of nips. If I had a nickel for every nip I found,
Yeah.
then I'd be a wealthy woman.
They have these nickel deposits on everything, but it all goes to the state. I don't see why they don't give us money.
Well, yeah, I don't know why
don't
they
think there
don't
is
give
a
us the
nip
money.
I don't think there's a deposit on nips.
I'm not
I don't
sure.
think there is
I
on
don't
nips
know.
either.
Yeah,
But,
they should.
like even Dunkin' Donuts and these
Yes.
fast food places, why aren't they giving something to the state to help clean up? Because a lot of the trash is generated from them, that styrofoam, those plastic cups.
There was one company, and maybe it was Dunkin', that was experimenting with a cup that would dispose after a month or so. That would be a big help, as long as it wasn't environmentally,
Right, wasn't bad for the
contaminated. Yeah.
environment, yeah.
It is.
It is a pain, though.
It is a pain. It is a pain, but it looks nice now. So thank you to everyone who came out. What do you have?
So, let's see, my rant and my rave are the same, 3 weeks to town meeting. But the other rave, I think, which goes along with the theme, the volunteerism, and really came through on Saturday, the Earth Removal Bylaw Committee, those guys put in hours and hours and hours. A couple of them recruited at the end for an hour and put in dozens of hours, but particularly Linda Letty and Amy Cronin they put in days and days and days. And so really appreciative. And it came up Saturday at the Bylaw Review Committee, and I don't remember who was talking about it. I think it was the chair, Alan, who was talking about new people come to town and they think there are all kinds of services in town, only to slowly find out not only are there services, but there are that many services, but what there are isn't hired people. It's all of us doing that stuff, and us spending Saturday morning trying to prioritize going to the Bylaw Review Committee meeting or picking up trash. And thank God the poison ivy isn't out yet when we pick up trash this time of year.
And then, was Sunday working on the park?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
and how did that go?
I had to prioritize and couldn't do that. Actually, that was my original rave, is I walked in the park for the first time in probably a couple months, and the amount of trees down that had already been cleared was just amazing. And that park is such an amazing place. If people aren't aware yet that there's a 130-acre park over there that's just stunningly beautiful, don't miss it.
It is beautiful. It's very peaceful.
Lovely place.
There's always people there.
Yeah.
You do, you always see trucks
Yeah.
there or
Yeah.
cars there. It is, it's nice that people are using it. All right, so anything else for tonight?
Yep.
All right, so we'll see you next week. Have a great night. All right, make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Night.
Good night.